What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's get into the TA. But first, this is not financial advice. And now let's get into the TA. All right, so we're gonna start off with the daily time frames. But I guess before we do that, let's just see what's going on. What I think is going on right now is we are filling yesterday's gap. I don't know if it is going to happen because you did well, I don't think yeah. So you came just shy of it. The gap fill is at what is that? That is 391.28. So we can put that on the chart right now. I don't know if that is going to be filled. I do not, but it could. All right, it very well could. Oh, we got it exactly on the first try. Nice. But yeah, I could stall out here. You're forming a hangman candlestick. This could also just end the day as like a long-legged doji and signal, hey, we're gonna have a slight counter trend. But this video, we are going to look back on the charts and see like what happened with the last big sell-off after the last. There's a counter trend which is right over here that looks like pretty identical to what happened here on SPY and QQ, especially QQ. With the declining volume, and then you broke to the downside out of this wedge over here. And then, you saw this incline in volume, and that is just signifying, hey, like sellers are here. All right, they're supporting this move. We did have bearish divergences on the 4-hour time frame for quite some time. We had quite a bit of them over on SPX here, and we did stall out pretty much directly at the trend line. And it was the too obvious to be true setup, but that is the setup that ended up coming to fruition. And it doesn't always have to play out like that, but you guys see what's going on. When you guys see these divergences, when you see the volume decreasing like that, like we saw that every single day for, I think, 3 days. You saw this, you had this volume spike right there. It was an indecision candlestick right there. But then after that, yeah, the following 2 days, like it was pretty obvious you were going to be stalling out. I didn't know if you were going to end up coming up here to the 283.819 gap fill. You did end up doing it, all right, and you did end up reversing off of that. Now, I don't know if you're going to end up spiking. I did point out the other day that hey, okay, the VIX can pop up and we can have like we could have something like this where you pop up and you stay up here and then you come down and make the lower low and then you take off. I don't know if it is going to end up playing out like that, but it's still on the table. But all right, I don't think it is going to happen. I think now that you're seeing the narrative shift. All right, listen. All right, Bullard literally came out saying 5.25 to 5.5% interest rates by the end of 2023. That's what he sees, and like it. All right, like that's not ideal. All right, the thing that freaked out the market and caused the sell-offs over here, I think it was this one right here. It was when Jerome came out and said we're gonna have interest rates over 5.1%, or he said at 5.1%, and he also reaffirmed that they're not going to be lowering rates throughout 2023. And listen, they just said something like pretty bad there. I'm not saying we are going to, fall off a cliff here, but this is exactly what we were expecting. The technical suggested a rug pull. We got the first day confirming a rug pull. I told you guys that we were looking for a bearish engulfing candlestick. Don't know why I did that. We're looking for a bearish engulfing candlestick, an indecision candlestick, a bearish ramming candlestick, or a topping tail. We got a bearish engulfing candlestick, which is very similar to what we had over here. And if we look over on the daily time frame here, look, it was exactly what I just pointed out to on was it SPY where you had the declining volume. Yeah, look at this. So you just 3 days of declining volume there, the same exact thing that we had over here on QQ, picture perfect. And then you broke down and you had a volume spike. It was a big fat red candle that engulfed 1, 2, 3, so pretty much 3 days of price action. Well, over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 days worth of price action that was engulfed by one candlestick. Even better than what you had over here. It was a slow bleed all day. So I'm just saying, you have a solid chance that it plays out very similar to what happened over there, which is, I mean, you guys can see, I think you had upwards of a $50 move. If I am remembering this correctly, let's go over to SPY and just see from top to bottom here. Yeah, $55 move down, and that was 13 bars. So that's happened in the span of 3 weeks there. That is not it's not ideal for the bulls. All right, you have a pretty strong case that that's happening right now. I told you guys that we had the first wave of selling. This was the counter trend. When we were over here, it didn't make sense that we are going to keep falling. It made sense that you're going to have a counter trend. Then we started seeing things on Apple that told us, hey, you're probably going to see a rather significant counter trend, because if we're going to have the fall that I thought we were going to have, and I still think, I think that's what we're seeing. I told you guys I didn't know what narrative shift was going to come, but there was going to be a narrative shift, and it was going to completely wipe away the bull case that like didn't really exist, because Jerome like literally just told us a month ago that they're not going to be lowering rates in 2023, and they're still going to be raising them because we're not at 5.1% right now. So that's the thing. And now Bullet is coming out, and yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's known to be hawkish, so it's nothing new. But at the same time, that's another Fed speaker that is coming out and reaffirming that the bull case shouldn't be there. We already knew from the last the FOMC minutes. We knew that their worst case scenario was a market rally. It would pretty much bring along a wealth effect, and yeah, that definitely would happen, guys. I'm serious. If you show people they have money and then they take out that money, and then the economy starts moving again. They need a recession to happen, because like I said, to bring things back to normal, prices have gone up. We need a deflationary time. We move in cycles, and they kind of I think they accelerated this inflationary cycle. They could have waited a lot longer and then kept pushing it down, but then COVID came along and they did what they did. And I'm not saying like, hey, if I was in, I don't know if I would have done anything better. I don't know. But at the same time, it is what it is. So it doesn't matter. It's in the past. It happened. But like, that's why we're seeing the volatility we have been seeing, is because they did this. All right. They just provided unlimited relief pretty much for COVID. And that was just what was going on. Actually, before we go any further, let's just see what's going on over here. All right. So you did end up selling off. And I believe I said in yesterday's video that, well, I kind of know I said in yesterday's video, or it was the written update of the video, that there's a chance you come down, maybe you gap down, and you come back up, and then you come to this 390 area, because I think in last night's video, that's when we put on this, or that's when I noticed at least that you had all these reactions here at the, right here at this 390 to 392 area. And I said there was a chance that you come down and you like literally, and there was a chance you bounce here, all right, and then you would continue selling, all right, or there was the chance that you came down, broke through it, and you came and flipped it, all right, and it does look like you gapped down, and now we are trying to fill the gap. It's at 391.28. Just let me make sure I got that right. Go back right there. 391.28. Yeah. But yeah, so you're trying to fill the gap. I think you're probably going to fill the gap, and there are definitely going to be sellers just sitting at that gap. I have a friend who literally did that. All right, I didn't do that. I pussied out. All right. I literally got to I think it was like somewhere right over here, and I sold like 30%. So I sold I sold 30 contracts, and then I like was gonna buy back just like cheaper, because I was like, oh, okay, now, and I'm pretty sure I posted on Twitter as well. I know I sent it to my friend. I posted the open interest on like tomorrow's expiration. I said like, if I was I definitely posted on Twitter. I said if I was the dealer, I would be closing it tomorrow right around right above 390, just to wipe out all of the put open interest. And then also for today, it's the same case. So I'm just saying, all right, like there was a probable chance, I guess we could say, that you were going to rise up into 390, and at least today close above it. I don't know if we are going to close above it, but again, if I was the dealer, I would do this. The best case scenario is you rise up to, if I was the dealer today, I think it was 392 to 393. That's where I would send this thing, going off of the open interest. But yeah, we don't have to do that. You can just reverse off the gap fill. Either way, there are going to be people like trying to send this down, and we're going to look at Ellie Wave. I think we just finished up. So I actually noticed this early on, And guys, I am going to eventually incorporate it, but it's going to like it's gonna be like, I don't know. It's not gonna be like, I'm not gonna rely on this because it's not good. All right, but like pairing that with the indicators, I think we got a solid chance. Indicators, patterns, and now Elliott wave. I think we got a solid chance of that, and candlesticks. There's that too. But yeah, you had this head and shoulders going on, and I was like, you know what? And then there was someone on Weeble, and he confirmed what I was seeing. And it was so funny that he said it because I was literally just looking at that, and I saw there was like a mini Head and Shoulders also formed right here. I was like, "One's gonna play out." But then yeah, he said it, and this happened. All right, and then but we were right here, and I put this on my chart. I was like, you know what? Everything looks bullish here, right? It's forming. We got a like right around over here. I was like, wait a minute, this actually looks impulsive. Like you had over here. And I think I might have figured something out. All right. I might have, but I'm not sure. All right. But on these corrective moves, you just kind of have this and you keep falling. All right. But at least you started going. And even like this, you just have this little bump and run, like whatever. You just keep going. But over here, you just started looking very impulsive. And then you started forming this bullish falling wedge. I was like, you know what? I mean, I already was thinking like it's probable that the dealers do bring it up there. And I did pussy out, and I did literally rebuy my contracts for almost the exact same price. It was like $1 cheaper. It was very stupid. But yeah, I mean, it would have actually worked out very well. I just didn't want to do it. But yeah, I do think you are going to either consolidate here, and then break back down, or you're going to go a little, like you're going to come right to the top of this range, and then I do think you're going to end up turning down. But let's look at what is going on the hourly time frame real quick. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna look back, like after we go over the daily time frame, we're gonna look back and see what happened on the other counter trend moves. Um, they're like the mini, like once you started falling, like let's see how big these counter trends were. Like let's look back, because I mean it's not gonna, history is not gonna repeat itself, but it is going to rhyme. That is a guarantee. I've seen it over and over again. So we are going to be looking at it at that. All right. But yeah, let's go over the daily charts, and let's start with VIX. All right, we'll put you up there. So this is what I was saying. There is a chance that we do end up coming back down. I don't know if it's going to happen, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think now that like you do, like I'm just saying, guys, anything you do know it's fake, because they just told you that the market should be pricing in the 5.25 to 5.5. Or at least that's what one of them thinks. All right. And Jerome already said the 5.1%. I don't think the futures federal funds rate is that right now, but I'm not sure. All right. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think that is what the market is was like. I think they're a depricing in like the Fed being hawkish. All right. But now the Fed is coming out hawkishly. And I told you guys that's probably what's going to be the what kicks off the narrative switch. You're going to have recession fears coming back. I think the retail sales were slumped, which I'm pretty sure that's a another sign of excuse me, I got to drink some water. But it's another sign of recession. I'm pretty sure. I'll after we go through the cycle, I guess I'll know. I will have experienced all this, and I will have documented my journey through this bear market every single day, and I think this is going to last for a few years. So this will continue being very fun, and we will continue nailing it, or at least learning how to nail it. And I do think you're probably going to pop a little bit here, and then you're probably going to cool off. Hang on, drinking some water. Thank you for patiently waiting. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But yeah, you are in oversold territory coming up on your 4-hour oscillators. So just like no, you can have a decent sized move right here, but like at the same time, you're probably not going to make it past your gap fills. Let's see what QQQ's was. It was 277.67. We're gonna come over here, 260. Hang on, come on. It was 277.67. So 67. Alrighty. We will make that bad boy green. All right, and we will take that off. Actually, we'll take that guy off. I don't think you're gonna. I really don't think you're gonna end up having a full-on pushback up. All right, I think the selling just began, but you can do it. All right, but I think it's more likely that you have a little consolidation here, and SPY ends up pushing up to that like max, like 392, 393, and then I do think that is where you would start turning down, and that's just because if you do look at the open interest for today. I think it's for today. I don't think it's for tomorrow. I think Max Payne, like the calls start getting bullish. I think like on both expirations today and tomorrow, around 395. So like, and that's where the dealers are paying out more to calls than that. But like also, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, I think the narrative shift just started. I think this we do have a chance of flushing into the close now that we have literally back tested this zone. We filled did we fill the gap? No, we still just short. I do think you're going to fill the gap now that you're up here. All right, but in terms of like what is this? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did we just finish it? I think we did. All right. I don't think we are I don't think we're going to last up here. I think we are going to end up coming back down. But there is also the chance like you can just keep moving up. I'm not going to lie, all right? Because again, if I was the dealer, I would consolidate you up here to run the clock on your contracts, and then I would also bring you up. I would bring you up to max paying. Why wouldn't you? I literally have to pay out the least amount of money, and I can probably make money on the way while doing that if it is low volume. Do we have low volume compared to yesterday? Dang right, we have low volume. So there's that. All right, but yeah, let's go over the oscillators and let's see what's going on. Let's see. I put this trend line up here. Let's see what it's saying. Oh, it was right here at the gap fill line. It was here to here, and it was look at that. Literally perfect, guys. Like I don't know if we are going to reject, but I think we did not fill SPX's gap. So like that is still a possibility too. So this low, let's actually just go like this, and we're gonna zoom in on this one because more numbers here on SPX. I'm gonna bring you right there. I'm gonna go like that. I'm gonna go like that. We get it down to the penny, guys. Down to the penny, because that's you could just do this instead. There you go. Takes a little more time there, but there we go. So yeah, SPX. So SPY filled its gap. SPX still did not fill its gap. So that is something to know. I don't know if you are going to do that, but that would align with what I was just saying. SPY would be going up to. I didn't look at SPX option, open interest. I looked at SPYs. That typically like works for me, so that is all I do. But yeah, that is where I would bring you. But yeah, guys, on the VIX, you do have your stochastic hinging down. Maybe it does cross down, maybe it doesn't. Look at where your CCI is, and I think you actually just spiked a little on the VIX. Yeah, you just did, because that just became a green candle. I don't know why it became a green candle. You didn't. It should be a red one. But either way, guys, you did have fireworks going off on the VIX, and I mean, I think you're going to continue. I don't think you're going to let up the selling. All right, and we're going to look back on the other counter trend that took place, and then also, or not the counter trend, but like the last sell off, and then also the bigger one that I think is very comparative to the counter trend that we just had, that prepared you for an absolute like bloodbath. All right, it was terrible. All right. But yeah, guys, the VIX did end up bouncing off this trend line on the RSI. Maybe we do end up consolidating and people start getting scared. If the VIX comes down, showing that people are selling their puts on the SPX, maybe SPY contracts are also tied to it, but I think it's just SPX. But that would mean people are selling out of their puts, big money's selling out of their puts, and then which would probably just be retail. And then there you go. Maybe you bounce off this trend line, and maybe then you are ready and off to the races. Maybe you end up breaking right here. You break your 200. You end up coming up and you break this resistance right here. All right. I'm not going to put the resistance on here because of the VIX. And, like the VIX, listen, I'm just saying, I've been calling out for probably a month and a half, maybe 2 months. The VIX like can't really be relied on for like technicals. All right. Like there was that trend. Maybe we are going to see that trend prevail because you're at 2036. You were at like almost 22 earlier. So I was thinking like, holy crap, it's taking off. No way. I did think like there was a chance you kept going. Like we did have on SPX over here. You had this where you just kept going. You did have this one day after this. You went down there. But over here, look, you just, maybe we're having this day of consolidation right here, and then we're going to continue to sell off. That's what I think it is likely. All right. But yeah, guys, VIX is like, in my opinion, it's heavily manipulated, but you do have this, if this trend line, you get a break, you got to close over it, I guess. Let's look in the 4-hour time frame. Look at that. Maybe VIX is just breaking out of this, through this trend line here, and then is literally just going to, flip it. Maybe. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it is a possibility that you are doing exactly that. I don't know, but you do see your 4-hour oscillators are just in overbought territory, except your RSI. You got room to run. But like I said, we never saw the bullish divergence end up playing out on the VIX. So there is a, I mean, I'm just saying there's a probability that that does happen, and it doesn't have to be from SPY moving up. I don't think SPY is going to really do that. But like at the same time, guys, I don't know. Like we've, this is literally the perfect scenario. I'm serious. This is, it doesn't really get much better than the setup we got going on here. This is exactly what we were looking for. At least one of these candlesticks to form, the bearish engulfing, the topping tail, the doji candlestick. We needed one of them to form on the weekly time frame. We got the bearish engulfing candlestick if we fall into Friday. I don't know if it's going to happen, but either way, we're going to have a sort of an indecision candlestick, that was on my list. I did. Like, it just needed to be one of them. I think it's going to form this. I'm not sure, but like, there's that. All right. I think I read a tweet or a message or something and said the debt ceiling was pushed back. I'm not sure. I didn't actually look into that. That was right before I started recording this. So it is 3:11 p.m. So I'm actually going to be wrapping this up pretty soon. We're just going to look at the lower time frames. All right. But yeah, QQ looks exactly the same as SPY going on right now on daily time frame. We do have, again, a indecision candlestick right here. Again, I did take it off, but we do have it reversing literally right off of this gap fill. So that is pretty cool as well. So that is also picture perfect right off of this one over here. But yeah, maybe you end up, I told you guys in the last video, probably the video before that as well. This trend line is holding. All right. Like it has a lot of reactions to it. If you look in the hourly time frame, you can actually see it better. But yeah, it just gets a lot of reactions. You literally flipped up of it right there and went on your way. And then you formed this corrective pattern right here. Is it a corrective pattern? I mean, like, I don't know. It looked pretty impulsive to me. That thing looked crazy. But at the same time, I knew like they were just cooking it. They were literally cooking everyone. They were just boiling everyone alive. And then, you can boil the frog. I think that's the saying. But yeah, like that's exactly what they're doing here. It was, I told you guys that we could end up bouncing in the morning, but all right, in the written update, I believe we could end up bouncing in the morning because of the bullish divergence we were seeing on the hourly time frame. I think SPX had one as well, a slight one. I don't think actually that is one, but either way, we're in a position to end up coming up. As you see, we did end up falling into this, and hey, I did say, I don't know if it was in yesterday's video, but I know I said it in one of the last two videos that we had the dovish federal, the Fed speaker. So Brainerd, the Miss Brainerd. So, and again, I don't know about that, but like that's what I heard. And if that is the case, I didn't listen to what she ended up saying, but like you see, the market did end up rallying. I know she was speaking at 115. So that was right over here. So kind of just pumped the stock. All right, she pumped the market. I don't know. Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't. I have no idea. But the other guy made the market tank. Maybe she pumped it because she's dovish. The other guy's known for being hawkish. But either way, I think something still is going to continue this narrative. All right. I think this is nothing less than fake price action. We can put a trend line up here. All right. You have that to break. I don't know if it will be broken. You have that, and then you can. I mean, if you want to look at that, you got rejected here. All right, this is on the 3-minute time frame. You literally got, and I don't know. I think you're going to end up pushing up to that gap fill, but SPY came very close to just again, also just like SPX here, turned off of it. So I do think there's a solid shot you do, but again, like you're in the zone in SPY. Like this is where I thought you were going to at least come back and back test. We don't have to fill the gap. We can leave it open. Like there's been other times if we come over to the 3-minute time frame, not 3-minute time frame, the daily time frame. You come over here and you just like left gaps, guys. You just don't leave, like you don't have to fill them. Like over here, I think you fit. Yeah, you filled them on the last day here and then you tanked. Over here, you never filled it. You came short. We don't have to fill it. Or you could do something like this and then you have some crazy like move back up. I don't think that's going to happen. That would definitely make this trend come true on VIX though. So stay open-minded because it could happen. But I don't think that is going to be happening. I think we are going to end up pushing up on the VIX, and I think we are still going to continue the selling pressure here on SPX. I think this was exactly what we were expecting, and yeah, the rug pull has commenced. I really do believe that is what is going on. And again, let's look at what we got going on back here. So this is what I compare this to, and let's just see how far we've fallen. All right, because keep in mind this was a before you really got any buying pressure stepping in, you fell just about 30 bucks. I know it was like a $35 total sell off. But you went from 430 over here down 42 bucks. All right. So, I mean, this could have been like, this was a bigger wave of selling. This could have been a bigger wave of selling than we have right here with this leg down that started up here. But all right, look at the size of this counter trend right here. All right. I'm serious. They cooked us. All right. That's like a 7% counter trend over here, top to bottom, peak to trough. Look, we got literally that same exact thing, 6.8%. All right. And then we turned off. This time we have all of this resistance. We had the golden pocket. All right. We had trend line resistance and 200 MA resistance, gap fill resistance. It was all here, guys. It was literally all here. And you have this really reactive 390, 392 level that I do think you are rejecting off of. I think that's exactly what is taking place. But at the same time, I fully acknowledge that you can just run up and fill that gap because you didn't before. And I also think that's like, I just wouldn't be surprised. And it could also happen here on SPX. You could do the same over here on QQ. I don't know. It wouldn't be surprise me if they just didn't and the dealers left it open and we could just keep going down. It doesn't have to fill is what I'm getting at. All right. And if this was a pattern, we had a target, one of the targets would be right here. So either way, we're gonna hit this target, which means we probably are doing exactly this. All right, which is doing that. All right. Let's look at it this way. Things don't just fall down. All right. But they I don't know if this is going to be an impulsive move, but it looks pretty impulsive to me. What the hell is this? This is what I was part of my French, but this is exactly what I was expecting. Impulsive move to the downside, a rug pull out of nowhere. Everyone getting complacent up here. Put the call ratio was not spiking or anything. There you go. All right, that's just showing that people are getting complacent. You had this bullish divergence going on here. You had, it was, you had a good spot to have that bounce. And again, things don't just fall off a cliff. They break branches and they test branches. That's exactly what happened here. You gap down through this branch. Over here on SPY actually. No, it's not going to show us here. But either way, yeah, this is a strong level here. This is where reactions happen. So you came down here and used this level as you formed the gap fill, and now I think that is going to the selling pressure is going to resume and it's going to bring you down. But yeah, looking back over here, we fell, I think, peak to trough here. All right, so that's 12 bucks. All right, but it's how much percent wise? That was 3%. All right, but like I said, they cooked you. It's the same exact thing over here, but you come over here and we're on the 4-hour time frame. Keep that in mind. All right, we only fell like 12 or 13 bucks so far. But we're still somewhere in here, but like even if we already came here, let's just look at this. So from where you started bouncing, and keep in mind this is just where your 4-hour CCI is getting into over sold territory. We came all the way down here. All right, so like you could get a decent move here. All right, but at the same time, I think it's going to be exactly like this, where you just have the surprises to the downside and you just keep going. Like, look at this. All right, you form this 4-hour bullish divergence here from, you started it over here and then you just ended up coming down. This is probably a gap down. If we look at where we are drawing here, was that in the form of a gap down? No, it was just a lot of consolidation there. Oh, no, it did come in the form of a gap down there. But yeah, so that's what I don't want to really miss. You could gap down $10 tomorrow and like that'll be that. You like lost your position. So to me, like it's not really worth getting in and out. I just don't want to do it. But either way, guys, yeah, you had this consolidation here, and I think it's very similar to what we had over there. You had the declining volume and they cooked you. All right, it was the same exact narrative, and then boom. All right, every time the CPI gets everyone jazzed up, it's the same exact argument. It's like, oh, inflation's going down, the Fed's going to soften up. Well, the Fed keeps telling us that they're not going to soften up. So why would they soften up? They're not gonna. They're going to toughen up. All right, but you jumped 1.16%. Let's look at what's going on over here. All right, you jumped 1%. We could go a little higher, like I was saying. Maybe we end up coming up to 391, 392, maybe even 393, and then we end up coming off. But like, I think we're past this stage. This was exactly what we just saw. This was our $35 sell off over there, 34 something. And then I think we're over here, right? And this was from where you came up to, you fell $15. So if we fall from 390, you're falling, yeah, you know, that's like a very decent sized move down, just very like aggressively. All right. It doesn't have to happen, but I think that is the vibe right now. I think that's what's going on. Everyone got rug pulled. I'm not seeing a lot of bullish comments now. It's for some reason it's going quiet. Not on my stuff. I'm talking about just all around the internet, just on Weeble. There are some people that make no sense to me, but all right. But yeah, you end up getting that, and you got this almost $15 move down. And again, you bounce. That's only 2%, so that's an $8 move. So I want to point out, like that might be an $8 move, but I don't care. All right. But that will also be represented in the form of a bullish divergence when we finally see the first actual like decently defined bullish divergence here, the 4-hour bullish divergence on the CCI here on SPY, which actually I want to actually talk about SPX if we're going to be talking about that, because that's exactly what I'm going to be watching. So I think that was yeah, it was right over here, and that's why I'm going to be paying close attention to this, because I'm not going to sell until I see this happening. And if you want to see where we are right now, we're not in oversold territory right now. Let's see if there was any comparable times here. Look, you started turning up here. It was this little consolidation, then boom. The next day, was this the next day? So you had this selling here. That was on the 13th. And you had this day. So this was the day after yesterday, pretty much. And then boom, this will be tomorrow right here. And then you end up moving down. Yeah, look at that, 1%. I don't know if it ends up happening, but I do think we are going to be moving down rather quick. Maybe it is comparable to the $30 move down in 5 trading sessions that we just witnessed from the previous peak. All right. I don't know if it's going to happen. No crystal ball, but like there's a solid shot it does end up happening. But look at this. Until you got a small 4-hour bullish divergence here, you had no decent sized rebound. All right. You had this little thing. All right. You had this little thing, but it ended up just doing this. All right. It went up. So that would be like $8 on the SPY. So almost 2%. And then it was the same thing over here. So it's something that's tradable. You can actually make a decent amount of money just like getting out of your contracts to get back in. But you risk like missing out. All right. And then you finally ended up forming a well-defined bullish divergence here on your 4-hour time frame here. That was right there. All right. So that's what I'm going to be looking for a bounce. All right. And I'm going to point something else out that I believe is here as well. You did end up, let me go like that. Over here, you formed a, I think that was on the daily time frame. You ended up forming a bullish divergence here. But yeah, you had a very decent sized bounce. So when I say $8, like, yeah, that's a lot on the SPY here. But if you look back to where we went over here, we come over here to the daily time frame here. I think this was like a $20 move here. Yeah, that's like a very decent sized move, and your contracts are going way down there. That's like if you're in the money, that's equivalent to losing $2,000 of your contract. That's not good. All right, I just wouldn't want to sit through that. So, right when I do see that pop up on SPX, like I'm talking like a decently defined bullish divergence there, we're gonna have to hit oversold territory on the 4-hour CCI, but I do think it's gonna happen. I think we're gonna grind down. Until that happens, like I'm just gonna point this out. All right, you fell until you really did form a nice one there. All right, that's equivalent to like $50 on the SPY. We already talked about that. It was $55, I think, on the SPY. But yeah, 12%. That's like a very decent amount. Until you form the small one, you still fell equivalent to what is this? Like 20. Yeah, I mean 7%. That is like it's a very decent sized move over there. It wouldn't be woke. All right. You would not want to miss that. All right. You fell a total of like this really can't happen. Let's just look at like that's a lot. All right, that would bring you right down to lows. It's not okay. If you're not seeing it, that's what I'm saying. It's not okay. All right, you're still at a bearish engulfing candlestick, I think. The close or the open was 390.37, so that's what we have to close under in order for this to be a bearish engulfing candlestick on the weekly, and that would be exactly what we needed. All right, let's just point out real quick. We're going to close this out soon, all right? We will be reviewing tickers, though, very, very briefly, all right? I'm going to quickly run through them, but we can look at them in detail on the weekly report. Actually, I'm not going to do that right now. I don't have much time right now. I have to put this video out, and then I have to get on out to work. So yeah, we're going to do that in either tomorrow's video, and it'll be a little longer, or we can do that in the weekly report. And we'll just do that at the end, and I will show you. We will be doing it. All right. First of all, we will in every weekly report guaranteed. We're going to be going over these in decent detail. We're just going to be scanning through the charts. And we will just cover them if anything's going on. Like Netflix has earnings today, I think in after hours. So that's going to be something that's going to be cool. Yeah, we're going to see what happens there. Maybe it does act as the catalyst. The gap is down tomorrow morning. I have no idea, but we have seen Netflix go down big, and then I think SPY has recovered by the next morning. So that's also a thing. But yeah, just letting you guys know, we will be looking at these. Let me know what tickers you do want down there. I saw some oil tickers, so I just added ZOM for the time being, XOM. So yeah, all right, but yeah, I'm very excited to track these because look at how much Netflix ended up running. We had it run like 100% from lows, 106%. That like heavily, like I'm pretty sure if you bought dated calls on this, you would have outperformed what you could have made doing the same thing on SPY. All right, not saying someone would have caught all this, but either way, we could have charted it along the way. And that's what I really want to do. I just want to chart things, all right? And I'm going to be doing the Elliott wave, so I think we're going to be able to do that on mainly the indices, but and that's not going to come yet, all right? But maybe it ends up showing a little bit when we're reviewing all these other ones because that's cool. All right. But yeah, guys, you just like I am excited to end up charting Netflix because look at how big this is. A massive mover, guys. All right, and I do think it's going to come back down. I don't know if it comes down back down all the way, but either way, I'm excited to expand my horizons. Excuse me, I got like hiccup, burp, yawn, whatever that was. I really don't know. I chugged like I've gone through like 6 or 7 water bottles today. I have no idea why. But yeah, let's go back over here and just quickly review what all the last times you made a bearish engulfing candlestick on SPX, which I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's not good. You had one right here. All right. You had one right here. You had one right here. You had, where was another one? Where was another one? We have another one. Definitely do. We had one right here. We had one right here. Do we have another one? Do we? I think that is pretty much it. All right. But let's just see. Because this is what I think is happening right here, right? And what happened from the close of that week to the next week, you fell another 5.44%. All right. So I'm just saying from peak to like bottom of these 2 weeks here, you fell 10%. That's exactly what happened very quick over here. All right. You fell there and then you fell all the way down there. All right. So very quick. All right. 5 trading sessions, like I said, like $30. That's insane. All right. I think that's going to be happening though. And I think like guys, there's a solid shot. We go straight to 370 to 375. And that would be that. Either way, I'm not going to think about really offloading a bunch of them until we start seeing on SPX's 4-hour time frame that this is taking place. That we are like there's probably going to be that decent sized counter trend move, or at least something. All right. If we see a little one, then it can lead to these little $8 moves, and that will also be a sign like, hey, let's take a little profits off the table. Let's sell 1/3 or half the position, try and trade that a little bit just to like, take advantage. But at the same time, I don't want to lose my position because I did that the last time and I was so mad at myself and I don't want to do that. It was frustrating and like listen, there's no point in making the same mistake second time. So again, I think it's pretty similar to what we got going on over there. It's pretty straightforward. We came for the back test and now we are going to continue lower. I don't know if that is going to be the case. All right. But there is a solid shot that we just continue falling off a cliff. I don't know. Again, I didn't know what the narrative shift would be, but on the weekly time frame, all the other times you felt significantly more after you formed a bearish engulfing candlestick. And I think there's a solid shot you fall into Friday as well. Maybe you do hang up there, but like I said, like technically speaking, you just came back for the back test here. From the zone we already broke it down from. All right. This is just, you have a lot of reactions at this level. All right. I didn't notice that until I think it was yesterday's video, but that's that. All right. So, all right, that is pretty much it. Everything really looks the same as that. I'm not concerned. All right. I do believe, like we can really look back at, like any of the bounces. All right. We can look at just like before we leave, we could briefly just do this. Any of like that was an oversized bounce. All right. So not over there. But like any of these little counter trend moves, they're not like they're not decent sized moves, right? So if we go up, it's only going to be for another 0.5% to 1% max. All right. So when you're like really falling here, like even over here, you barely moved. That is $10. I mean, it would be a decent sized move back up, but like, again, I mean, it's whatever. If that does happen, it's whatever. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this is very comparable to what happened right here. All right. And that's what I want to relate this to. But like also right here before that happened, you just didn't have massive moves up. You can have like a $5 or $6 move up. But like we'll have signs telling us that a counter trend like this is going to be taking place. Counter trend like this is going to be taking place. That's when I am going to get the frack out. And we are going to either just sit that one out, but like we're going to have the first sign to start like looking to add bullish positions, you know. And also when we see the market bottoming, Mara is going to be such a play. All right, Mara is going to be such a play. I'm very excited to scoop Mara back up down here at 350. All right, that's where I'm going to be trying to get calls on Mara down here at 350. It started squeezing before Bitcoin, or actually no, it started squeezing just a lot, we'll say. Like you see what happened. It went straight up, right? Bitcoin did also go straight up, but it didn't, like, you see Bitcoin went up like 30% peak to trough, all right, or trough to peak here. Mara went up like 100, like 80%, I want to say, 100, like 50 something percent. Yeah, 188%. That's absolutely insane. All right, guys. So with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video. I do think we're just back testing, and then we're going to resume lower. But like worst case scenario, keep in mind what I said about the January 20 OPEX, all right? They can, like, you know, I would keep you like right around 390, all right? Like up right above 390 at close tomorrow. I don't know if it happens, but like all the dealer has to do is just flip short and like just to cover their butts, all right? So they're not, like, you know, losing when things go down, and that would, all that would do is cause a really aggressive sell-off. So like you have fuel for a really aggressive sell-off right now, because of that put OPEX, right? It could happen. So we could see a very fat red bar tomorrow, or we could just consolidate tomorrow. I don't know. Yeah, you know, that's what I would do if I was a dealer. So with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.